Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. We've got a quick fire chart update here on XPR, that is Proton. So guys, this is one of our favourite bags here at the Wells of Wall Street. Let's take a look at the chart to see where we are with this movement of XPR quite recently. So guys, as you can see on the display here, I'm just going to remove this previous fib retracement setup so we're a bit clearer. So we've managed to hit the top end of our lower buy point here. So we sold some XPR up here at the top, just slightly under 5 cent. I think we did 4.7 cents. So obviously around that point I was sort of thinking, well, you know, the price that I got in, I need to sell some XPR off. And we put 3 strategic areas of potential buy opportunities on the way down. Now, since the last XPR video, we've touched into this area a few times. So that's good to see that. And I think this is very healthy, and it's really good for those that perhaps felt like they missed the XPR train on the way up here. And, if you were jumping in at this top end, don't get too disheartened. We will be back there at some point soon, I'm sure. But yeah, lessons learned if that was the case. But for those that took profits, or even if you're holding for a long time, you're just accumulating on dips, there's plenty of opportunity here. This is not financial advice, obviously, just observing different opportunities at different times. So I'm going to pull out here, guys, this lower buy point and to this lower spectrum. So we've got another buy order here just above the 2 cent mark. Okay, I'm not suggesting that it's definitely coming down to this area, but we did put this orange line here horizontally line because we do have an area of interest in historic data back here. And if you remember in one of our previous videos, we did mention that once we got to these sort of areas here, we're in very much price discovery mode with zero support mechanisms. So we need to find now this big identity, because we have this big absolutely massive dip here, almost like the cup and handle really, but for me it's not quite that just yet. But what I'm anticipating is between this period here around the 2nd of April and up until this point, around the sort of middle of October, there's a big gap here to determine what's our new support price point or real price of XPR. So I put in this orange line as an area of interest, and it's also kind of tailing in with this part here. So this kind of area that we see here floating around between 2.2 cents and 2.6 cents, which we're literally right now just floating above, it was of great interest to me because we have levels of kind of stability around here. So even at 1.5 cents, and that's why we had this previous buy option down here, just in case it did flop down, because general anticipation, I've said this in a multitude of videos, when you've hit the top, you can sometimes expect up to 70% reduction. So I usually see around 30 to 70%. That doesn't always happen overnight. It's usually a gradual move. And we've seen certainly most of that happening already. We can confirm that at least 46-47% reduction in that previous top point here on the 19th of October. So we're still way off the previous all-time high, just above that 10 cents. So what we're doing right now is we've just basically achieved a gigantic move in XPR. I mean, look back here, 3rd of September, 0.004, guys, and we've shot up to this 5 points, was exactly 5.2 cents. Absolutely phenomenal moves. But we really need to now identify between this sort of gap here. I would suggest arguably anywhere from this top point here to these low points around this sort of area, 1.5 cents. It's going to be really interesting to see the development of where we get this support mechanism. Now, this week in particular so far has been showing some very good validation around this sort of area of 2.7 cents. And as of recording, we are actually indeed on that market again as well. So what I'm going to just do quickly here, I'm just going to pull in a shorter fib retracement mark here. Let's see if we get any more information on this to see where we are level wise. So yeah, it's pretty much quite level in that aspect. So what I'm anticipating here, guys, is really much a reflection on can we stabilize at this area, or are we going to bring this down further? As I said at the beginning of this video, to that potential up to 70% mark. Now, up to 70%, ironically, is literally around this mark, which is one of the reasons why I put this down here. But, you know, I still think, we've got a bit more left in the tank of a further reduction on this project, because we had such a massive movement upwards. We will probably see a slow reflection now, gradually trying to get some resistance around this marker of between sort of 2.5 cents and 1.5 cents. So that's where I think we'll start seeing the tail off of the histogram here in the pale red that you see down here. So you can see we're actually still in the bearish momentum. The RSI is floating very nicely around 48, but my thoughts and general opinion on that is that, generally speaking, if I was new to XPR or was waiting, I'd be very much looking for that RSI to be floating more down towards that 40 to 35 mark. And that's why I generally think that we will definitely probably at some point come back down to this 2 cent mark, and arguably even to this 1.5 cent, which could be two really good pickup points if you haven't taken advantage on the way down, or it's still, in my opinion, there's still a bit of risk there, in the sense if you put in now, there's still the opportunity of bringing this down further. Now, crypto can move very fast, guys. Of course, it could switch back up at any moment, but I think these volumes are still very big. Obviously we've had some big tail ups with the intake, but if you look at the histogram here in terms of the overselling, as it were, yes, it's gone a bit paler, which means it's slightly reducing each day, but I think it's still top heavy. That's why I think it could potentially drag us down to at least test this 2.5 area as a minimum, and then maybe just arguing about that 2 cent and possibly 1.5. So let us know what you think about that in the comments below. Like I said, I'm an XPR holder. I'm staking a massive amount. I've sold some to take advantage of the drop down. I'm really pleased with the progress of that. It's working so far in that aspect, but like I said, for those that are looking to introduce themselves to XPR, do your own research, think about your own strategy and thought process. This is not financial advice, but just a thought and opinion that I believe we may start testing these areas. And it's really healthy for the project, guys, because if you actually look at the trend line, what we want to see is this kind of like move in this upward direction. So eventually we'll start having a bounce out, and I do believe it will be around this mark here somewhere, where we will see that, and then we'll start stabilizing. We'll start taking ourselves back up. It won't be a big parabolic run like this again probably, but we'll certainly see some good wave movements upwards, get ourselves back up to this area up here again around that 5 cent mark, and then we can start pushing the really high momentums, the bigger gaps, taking us back to the previous all-time high areas, and then back over into price discovery mode. And I don't anticipate that potentially until maybe December or January. But let us know what you think on that. But I'm really pleased with the progress of XPR. I still believe strongly that in this bull run we will see at least maybe up to 20 cents. When I mean the bull run, it could obviously go into next year, but I mean in general the practice of everything going up as high as it can before we start seeing general retracements and into what they call like the winter markets, as it were. So I think we could get to that 20 cent mark quite comfortably. There's a lot of people out there shouting the dollar and the usual stuff, but I just feel we need to be realistic on this project. It's very new, and there's lots of momentum in the roadmap and everything like that. We've got the fiat integration, and don't get me wrong, guys, if this gets put on other exchanges like top tier exchanges other than KuCoin, of course it can take it up even higher than that and quicker. These movements down, and I did say that we'll probably see a nice slow wave pattern, but if we do get integration with other major exchanges, it could go up a lot faster. So guys, there's a lot to go into this. There's a lot of good positive feelings in my mind of this project. It's phenomenal. The platform fantastic, the wrapping aspect, the zero gas fees. We've got the loan aspect. We need to launch the video of that in a couple of days time, and we've got all the fiat integration coming and loads of other cool stuff on the roadmap. So it's definitely not over. It's just we had this great momentum upwards, the belief in the project, and people were taking profits. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's good and healthy for the general price action of this project anyway. So let's just keep an eye on it. We'll do an update in the next couple of days, guys, but like I said, just to fully recap this before we wrap up, I do have an anticipation we'll come down to test these regions around just floating above 2 cents. We may dip down to this 1.5 just because of historic data information, and the general aspect of, you know, this, especially around this as well, the resistance and top line aspects of trying to make sure we get the very good support mechanisms along the way in these lower regions so that we can confirm them and then take up more healthily and more positively with great backing into this project to push it up to new heights in a sensible fashion. Okay, so that's just my general overview. Let us know what you think below. You XPR holders out there, let us know what you've been doing in the market in the last few weeks. Have you been buying, selling, accumulating on the drop, holding long term regardless? Let us know what you think. And if you are new to XPR, you're trying to think about XPR, let us know you know, why you're interested in the project and what you think about it as well. But there's loads of movement to go, guys, still in my opinion, both down and up in this short period of time and the few months to come. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We will do an update video on XPR by the end of the week, and we'll see how this develops, and if anything critical happens in the meantime, as always, we will jump on a video and we will let you guys know what's going on. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next XPR Proton video. Bye bye.